A robot lacks hesitation. It operates on pre-programmed instructions and training datasets, identifying pixel patterns without the psychological inhibition that typically restrains human violence. As machines take over the decision to strike, we are forced to ask if it is fair for a human life to be ended by a process that cannot understand the gravity of that choice. This isn't theoretical. In 2020, a United Nations report detailed an incident in Libya where a Turkish Kargu-2 drone tracked and engaged retreating soldiers. The drone was programmed to hunt and attack targets without requiring a data connection to a human operator, effectively acting as a fully autonomous weapon. Militaries are integrating these systems to accelerate the tempo of war. While a team of 20 intelligence officers might take nearly a year to identify 50 to 100 targets, an AI system can analyze surveillance data to recommend 200 targets in less than 2 weeks. If you are finding this breakdown insightful, please hit subscribe to Autonomous Warfare. Removing soldiers from the front lines reduces the immediate casualty count for the side deploying the technology. However, this lack of physical risk also lowers the political threshold for war, making it easier for leaders to initiate strikes when the human cost of combat is no longer visible to their own public. When boots on the ground are replaced by remote algorithms, the visceral horrors of combat are replaced by a data feed. This distance erases the natural empathy that often serves as a final check on violence, turning the act of killing into a remote, calculated transaction for the attacker. To a computer, war is a series of variables to be optimized, but military algorithms suffer from a flaw called overfitting. Systems like COA-GPT are trained on clean, simulated data, where every unit's position is known and every value is symmetric. When these models move from a simulation to the real world, they often become brittle. They struggle to generalize to the fog of war, the unpredictable chaos of a real battlefield, where sensor data is messy and human behavior doesn't follow a mathematical script. We saw the consequences of this quantitative obsession during the Vietnam War. Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara attempted to manage the conflict through body counts and statistical metrics, believing that if the numbers looked right on a spreadsheet, the war was being won. History shows that war cannot be reduced to purely mathematical estimates. By trusting absolute formulas to solve for combat variables, military leaders risk becoming blind to the qualitative factors, like human will and local context, that data points often fail to capture. As shown in these reports, the Israel Defense Forces have deployed AI systems known as Lavender and Gospel to identify targets in Gaza. Gospel generates recommendations for structures, while Lavender once listed 37,000 Palestinian men as potential militants based on their behavioral patterns and social links. These systems were intended to assist human analysts, but they often trigger automation bias. This is a psychological tendency for humans to overtrust machine recommendations, accepting algorithmic outputs without performing the independent verification required by law. In the pressure of active operations, human oversight became symbolic. Intelligence officers reported their involvement was frequently reduced to a 20-second check, just enough time to confirm the target's gender before greenlighting the strike. This lack of meaningful review has led to significant loss of life. In late 2023, an AI audio analysis tool estimated the location of Hamas commander Ibrahim Bayari. Despite warnings that striking his location would require the destruction of several apartment buildings, the strike moved forward, resulting in the deaths of over 125 civilians. When operators are reduced to rubber stamping machine outputs to maintain operational speed, the human in the loop no longer exercises true judgment. The machine selects the target, and the human simply provides the legal cover for the execution. If a machine makes the final determination to fire, and that strike results in a war crime, our current legal frameworks face a fundamental misalignment. Who do you put on trial when there is no human decision-maker at the moment of the strike? International criminal law is built on human agency. Article 30 of the Rome Statute requires a prosecutor to prove both intent and knowledge to establish criminal responsibility. But an algorithm has no conscious mind. It cannot intend to commit a crime. This creates a cycle of blame. Commanders point to the unpredictable nature of the software, while programmers argue they are too far removed from the battlefield to be responsible for how their code is used. This gap in accountability means that even when a strike is clearly unlawful, there may be no individual who meets the legal threshold for prosecution. It creates a vacuum where victims are denied justice because the decision to kill was decoupled from human intent. Philosophers like Immanuel Kant argue that human beings possess an intrinsic value that sets them apart from objects. When we delegate the choice to kill to a machine, we treat our opponents not as unique individuals, but as zeros and ones in a digital code. In late 2023, Pope Francis spoke out against this trend, labeling the use of autonomous weapons as mechanical slaughter. He warned that moral judgment is a uniquely human capacity that cannot be reduced to a collection of algorithms. A machine makes a choice based on predefined criteria, but it cannot make a moral decision. It lacks the emotions and compassion necessary to show restraint or clemency. By handing this power to software, we risk a moral disconnect that dehumanizes the act of taking a life. Despite these concerns, a total global ban on AI weapons remains unlikely. For nation-states, the strategic advantages, increased efficiency, and reduced risk to their own troops are viewed as too significant to give up in a competitive international environment. To bridge the accountability gap, legal experts are proposing the application of strict liability to developers and manufacturers. This would hold the creators of these systems legally responsible for the outcomes of their software, regardless of their specific intent or negligence. The other proposed standard is meaningful human control. This would require commanders to exercise actual judgment over every strike, ensuring they have the situational awareness to evaluate if an attack is truly proportionate before it is launched. Thank you for watching. Who do you think should be held accountable when a military algorithm makes a fatal error? Is it the commander, the software programmer, or the system manufacturer? Let us know down in the comment section. Warfare is changing, but the responsibility for lethal force must remain a human one. Without strict liability and meaningful oversight, we risk a future where the rules of war are written in code that no one can truly control.